Hello. Hi, everyone. Today is going to be about Oathbringer. This is the third book in the Stormlight Archives. And yeah, hopefully a quick discussion because I felt like this book, at least for me, was a lot of learning about the Spren. It was a heavy Dalinar book. And learning about Spren and Spren this, Spren that. So yeah, that there goes the book.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Practically. What are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars because I think it was more character driven. I think Brandie Sanderson did a great job bringing up mental health.
Oh, 1,000%.
Mental illness with like Shallan with all her different identities. I like that. And then with Dalinar with his regret, and Kaladin with his depression. I found that very interesting that he tapped in to them, because if you think about it, they're having war, they're going through war and phases and stuff like that throughout their lives, and you can see the reality of it and how realistic it is, because war can take a toll on you and you start to lose yourself.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because Shallan and going through and having these multi-personalities, I feel like even though she was putting on a persona, that was part of her, right? Like she was battling that this is you, this is not you, this is her, and then but at the end of the day it was, it was her, it was something that she was having to deal with, trying to be two different people, but it all, for me, I just looked at it like, okay, this is just a different side of you, right? Dalinar in his drinking, that was a big thing, right? I mean, realizing his wife and what happened, and his memories coming back and whatnot, that kind of, how do I say?
Type of way
I can relate to it, right? Like I feel like I can relate to just the grief, because he had to kind of relive that. And like you said, Brandie Sanderson did a really good job when it comes down to just bringing mental health into it, also bringing relationships, couples, males dating males within Bridge 4. So we definitely seen a different side of Brandie Sanderson with this book and the characters.
Yeah, I didn't really like Dalinar because it was like, because he wanted his memories to be gone. He deliberately did that, and he's like, oh my god, all these memories are coming back. I was like, I didn't feel bad for him at all.
Yeah,
he had to go through that. You had to go through that, because you literally had somebody get rid of your memories, knowing that you killed your wife.
Yeah.
And then you had the audacity to blame Sadeas and have everyone believe that it was his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's something, though, to be said that, like, the guilt is something that I think is hard for a lot of people to even accept as a part of grief, right? And even though he did have an entire hand in what happened to his wife, like, with the guilt of doing that, like, that's a lot of times the punishment in and of itself. And I appreciate how Brandon really, like, looked at that in the ways that he then from that was coping, whether he knew it or not. And it's interesting too, because when you look at any kind of traumatic event, any person that's gone through extensive amounts of trauma, they have those points where the memory is shoddy, whether because they want it to be that way by repressing, or because it's so traumatic, their brain itself causes that to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's completely relatable when it comes down to like the way he processed the grief. Because I also experience things like that where I cannot tell you a lot of my childhood. You know, it's blocked out somewhere, and it's the way my brain processed and protected me against trauma. But like you said, he purposely asked for it. A lot of people who experience that are not asking for it, but it's a
I mean, I guess
protection.
If you had access to that, I guess anybody would do that, I guess.
It's a protection mechanism, right? Like I wouldn't, the thing where Dalinar fucked up at is that he blamed someone else. And that to me was like, okay, no.
I just haven't learned. Him blaming Sadeas or whatever, that I feel like that also triggered Adolin to do what he did, to kill him. So, but then like Dalinar as a parent, I'm like, dang, you were a deadbeat.
Yeah. I was shocked.
What?
Yeah. And he even had a favorite kid, and
right.
Yeah.
Dalinar, your youngest son, and you didn't like how she, you know, the name she had given him. And she really wanted to be involved in her husband's life.
Yeah.
And that was really, I felt for her. She was like, why can't we have peace? Because that's all Dalinar was like. He just wanted blood.
Blackthorn.
Yeah, he just wanted
similar to a separate personality, right? Like he would come to, and then he's Dalinar again. But when Blackthorn was out, he was slaughtering everybody. He was cutting heads off.
Right.
So,
which in comparing that to Shallan is very different, because Shallan flipped between personalities as a way for her to figure out how to see the world and see herself within the world, right? Dalinar, it was, I just want to be able to separate myself from the bloodshed that I will then, as in the same body, be doing. Like, it's kind of that alter ego idea in terms of Dalinar, but then with Shallan, it's a completely different story where she doesn't understand who she is. She has to try on all the masks to figure out who it is that she really is at her core.
Yeah.
They're both alter egos, I would say. It's just like
it's two different
things, right?
Yeah.
Like the motives are two different things.
Yeah, like she's trying to get into with the Nightbloods.
Yes.
And trying to figure them out.
And then you look at Shallan too.
He likes it at some degree.
Yeah, and what I was just gonna say was, you know, like starting her off, going all the way back to, you know, book 1, she already was in a really kind of catastrophic place. She had to step up for her family, which was something she was not prepared for, and she was practically a child, to my understanding. Like she was very, very young when that identity was like so malleable. So it's no wonder she becomes what she is in this book, because she hasn't had an opportunity to really figure out what her identity is, because she's been pretending to be so many other people for so long.
Absolutely. Which is a great spin on, like, well, not spin, but the way Brandon Sanderson, again, the way he handled that. So relatable, because we do go through those type of within our lives, and having to figure each other out, wear many hats, and then whatnot.
Right. Like that's why I just love. I really enjoyed this book, because Brandon Sanderson really did something that I don't think a lot of authors have done, where they have these main characters where they constantly look like badasses, but at some point they're not always like that. They have weaknesses.
You get to see the other side of them. Hey guys. Hi everyone.
But like I was even surprised with Kaladin when he returned home. He saw his parents after 5 years. Like he was super nervous. Like he's like, I failed y'all, you know, I didn't protect my brother. And they're like, we thought you were dead too.
Yeah. We're just glad to have one kid. That that whole scene of him coming back, and I I like when he brought out his shard blade
Mm-hmm.
and like shut the room down, like because he was bossing them around. He brought out his shard blade and was like, "This is why you'll listen to me," type of thing.
Right.
But that was such an emotional experience, like, or not experience, but like so emotional. They're being reunited with his family, and then, you know, at least, not at least they have one son, but I'm sure that they're grateful at the fact that at least, one
Mm-hmm.
was alive.
Right.
That's a horrible way of putting that, but
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the truth. I mean, think of how many people went, like, in our real lives, right? They have family that are in the military, and they don't get to hear anything about what's going on, especially if they're in combat, right? And then they find out, like, especially they have, like 3 or 4 kids all at the same time in the military. Think like Saving Private Ryan. That was a whole example of, like, you had one kid survive. That is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is kind of the sentiment that we were supposed to have gotten with the family, was that, yeah, where the other one was for a long time. To know he's alive is so, like, emotionally charged, because they actually get to see one of their sons that they never thought they'd ever see again.
Yeah.
But then they were having a hard time trying to understand him.
Yeah.
Like, you're home now. Like, you can do what you wanted to do. And yeah, it's not the same person. No one is the same person when they come back.
Not at all. The battles that he was going through, no, he couldn't just drop things and just be a surgeon. Like, he's a whole different type of person now. He's a Radiant.
Right. He has a role to play.
He does have a big role to play.
Right. It's crucial.
I think Seal was like really. I just love Seal throughout this entire book. Oh god,
funny. Like, she was even trying to hook him up with Shalon at one point, even though she was betrothed.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
That doesn't mean that she's committed or something like that. It was just
not like she's really with him.
This entire book, even when they went to Shadesmar, just she's a ride or die for Kaladin, and I was just like rolling with her. She is definitely one of my top 10 favorite characters for sure.
I just
but Pattern
is Pattern is
the whole scene where, like, Shalon and Adolin, they're like kind of having that moment where it's like, ooh, it's very sexually charged, and all of a sudden it's like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to stop.
No mating. When Shalon was following the killer, that the person going around killing people in the, I want to say it was the beginning or middle of the book, and come to find out it was a Spren. Shalon had Pattern go get Adolin, and he said something along the lines of, come help before she does something stupid or something like that. I was like, Pattern is so funny, like just going around, no mating. Like, he's friends. And again, Brandie Sanderson, we know Brandie Sanderson's banter. He's funny, so every book there's going to be at least one funny character. And so
Lift was funny too.
Lift was funny.
Calling Dalinar a tight butt.
A tight butt. Don't trust him. He has a tight butt. Old people are.
You don't want to trust him. But she was sort of right. She was right. Like, she sensed it. Like, something's up with him. He has too many secrets. Which he does.
My other favorite Pattern moment was the one where he's talking with Shalon about Adolin, and she says something to the effect of, like, well, if you like him so much, why don't you marry him? And he's like, is that an option? She's like,
yeah.
No, that is not an option.
Is that possible?
Oh, man.
I love that I kind of want to, I'm jumping the gun here, but now that we've seen and understand the history behind like these items, these swords, the like the whole Spren situation, how that impacts and plays a role in other series, going back to Mistborn, and is that a thing as well, where there's possibly Spren? We just don't know about it, right? And Mistborn, so
like it was nice to see Vivenna again.
Oh
Yeah.
that was I was like, wait, this is Vivenna. Like
well, and who's to say that Spren aren't the ones that are kind of controlling the color aspect that we see in Warbreaker?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have so much more ability to see the color, you're able to see different things within it. So who's to say that it's not there? They just don't know what it is.
And everything is a Spren, right? Like, everything is
like, even we saw Nightblood, but Nightblood is with Szeth.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, how'd y'all get separated?
Right.
Like, weren't y'all with what's his face? Like
from Warbreaker?
Yeah, what's his name?
I don't remember his name.
He trained at Adolin and them to fight with Starblades. What was his name?
I'm curious now with that knowledge.
Vasher, yeah.
Vasher. Yes. I'm curious now, especially that we know we're going to be getting a book 2 within Warbreaker that's called Nightblood.
Mm-hmm.
Are we not only going to see them get separated, but are we going to see how exactly the shard blades come into play within that realm? Because they seem to be the same kind of blade. So are they just calling these shard blades something different in the Warbreaker world? I'd be curious to know, is there some kind of like universe jumping? There has to be.
There is.
They mentioned a portal, some type of portal or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So I'm curious if in Nightblood we're going to see anything of that or any kind of hinting at that coming. And then officially have a crossover book. That would be awesome.
I think it's good. There is definitely a myth. Even if we were to go back now that we know about the blades and the all of the weapons, all of them, right? In the beginning of Warbreaker, I remember they talked about the 5 scholars. They talked about their swords. So, I mean, like, now that we know Nightblood, we just thought, like, how is he some magical, crazy sword, right? Like, that's what we assumed. But now that we know, I'm sure that if we went back and really analyzed the book, knowing about the Spren and whatnot, we would see.
It was nice to also know about the heralds, like all that.
Right. Knowing the heralds and whatnot. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of that. But like you said, even Vasher being in Stormlight, that's all an automatic crossover. Vivenna, all of these people is definitely crossing into each other. They're showing up.
Yeah. So. Like even Trellides, who is... What was his name in Warbreaker? I forget. It's crazy how they have all these different names. You're trying to remember them.
I don't know who that is. Maybe I missed that.
He was the bad dude that was trying to kill Vasher because he killed his sister. Was it Dents? Dent? I don't remember.
Yeah. Denth.
Yeah, Denth.
Yes, that's what it was.
I was like, wait. Yeah.
So these names.
Yeah, and Stormlight hits Trellides.
Yeah. I didn't make that connection. That was...
That was him. I'm like, wait, okay. I literally, as I was reading, I had to like, okay, this sounds too familiar. So I had to Google stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. There's the connection.
Man.
But there's also other like characters. And you had Moash finally got what he wanted and killed King Alfgar. I was not surprised with that.
Yeah.
Was not.
Moash needs to sit his ass down.
Right.
I'm in the beginning of the book, knowing that Bridge 4 was able to, consume Stormlight because of Paladin. I wonder what the connection is there, because, like, how come the other Radiants are not able to give off as well to their people? So
I want to say it was mentioned somewhere that Kaladin was a very specific kind, and that's why he was able to, but I can't remember for certain if that was mentioned or not.
Maybe. I probably missed that
Yeah,
because I don't. I remember him saying something about taking Zeph's sword and getting power when he killed them. I don't know.
but like I was like writing notes, and I'm like thinking to myself, oh yeah, Travangian is odium,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. He's responsible for the deaths of at least 4 of the shards. It was devotion, honor, ambition, and dominion. I'm like, oh my god, you
Ambition?
just
Where's ambition at? Is that?
yeah, that's cool. That's my notes. Forgot what page. I forgot to put the page
I
number.
didn't take any notes this time.
Yeah,
I usually have a whole 3 sheets of paper.
but he's trying to be the most powerful entity of the Cosmere.
Which is so funny because I love the fact that Brandon writes him as this like super old man who's so feeble.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. That's like one of my favorite like red herring devices is when somebody is made out to be so old and feeble they can't possibly be behind anything, and expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel about Jessna and how she assumed it was she needed to kill her cousin Renarin because of the prophecy or whatever of somebody's not true to themselves, somebody's
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because obviously, like, she, I think in some ways jumped the gun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like for one, there's something to do with the fact that, like, there was a time crunch, right? Like, they had to get something taken care of, like, immediately. And to my recollection, because it's been several weeks since I read it, so some of the things are fuzzy, but
he had a spren that was corrupted, that was bonded to him.
Right. So there was enough evidence to like see that was possible. So I don't blame her for making that decision or having that come up. But at the same time, I'm like, you jumped the gun.
Yeah. Because she's like, she had the vision that whoever predicted the Everstorm was the person she had to kill or something. There's a lot of people that came up. Unity shows up in the book. I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah. That just, oh, man. No ashes. Man. The scene with Jasna and Renair broke me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Don't have me cry on this internet. I had to look up who Devotion was. You said Devotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ambition is shadows for silence in the forest of hell, which I did read that. It's about a person that lives in the forest and a bunch of creepy things around it. Anyway, Devotion is Elantris. So I was like, who is? I don't remember. I didn't remember. My brain is shot.
And then who was in Mistborn? It was
Cultivation.
Yeah. And he was some kind of chaotic entity. I can't remember.
Cultivation and Ruin.
Yeah, it was Ruin. Yep.
There you go.
And Ruin. Yeah. That was Mistborn, and that created harmony. Or what,
Yeah.
The harmony.
They fused in a sense to create.
Yep.
Which, if I remember correctly, that was through Kelsier, wasn't it? Was that?
The fusing?
Yeah.
The fusing for Mistborn happened, I think Vin took it and then gave it to
That's right.
to says it.
Yeah.
Because then she
Died.
tried to heal, her boo, and then did a bunch of other things behind the scenes, and then
right.
Just
Mhm.
Because then in Kelsier's point of view from that, he sees Sazed later on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he's Harmony at that point. Yeah, now I remember. It feels like it's been forever since I read
it. Because we're reading so much, we're jumping from different planets and whatnot. It's interesting. Like, even with this book, it mentions so many other characters. Like, we get to know more about Hoyd.
Yeah.
And his relationship with Reyes. I found that interesting.
Man. Do we even call him Hoyd at this point? I feel like his name should just be Wit. Like, maybe I've heard more Wit than I've heard Hoyd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I feel like, yeah. I don't
but
know.
His relationship with Shalon was interesting.
That was I really the thing with Wit, he's so funny, but then he knows the right things to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's so wise, and he's wise, and then he just finds enjoyment in doing silly, ridiculous things. But yeah, the relationship that they had, Shalon battling, the multiple personalities and things like that.
Mm-hmm. I was waiting for when she was getting close to the answer who killed her brother. Because it was Kaladin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm thinking like, oh snap, she has all these other personalities.
That was in this book. I forgot about that because Adolin told her, right? What happened?
Well, Adolin told her that he killed Sadius. But
wasn't it the gentleman?
He also said that's what Kalinar was beefing with. What's his name?
The general, the military.
The general dude. He was like, that's why he didn't like them. That's what the beef was over.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of the,
but she doesn't know who actually killed her brother. Remember, she's also still trying to figure that out with the Nightbloods because she thought they had something to do with it.
No, I remember that Adolin told her. He was like, was it this book though? I remember that part. I swear.
If she knew it was Kaladin, she would have went nuts.
Because I remember her being like, I can't think about that. I can't think about that right now. I can't think about that right now. And it was all about the blade. And Amaran killed Kaladin's men. I remember. I wish I wrote down the page numbers. But anyway.
Amaran, he was killed by the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because Wit is an asshole will never be funny to me. Never not be funny to me. Yeah. I just call him Wit. Yeah, his name is more, I hear him more as Wit than anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to know because Wit pops up and then he leaves. So hopefully in the future, like, we know where he's going. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he doing?
I don't know. But, like, from what I read, like, he's really fearful of Reyes. For some odd reason.
Isn't Reyes like, also a world walker?
He was the first vessel of the Shard of Odium. So it's like he's really like scared. And Hoyd or Wit, he's not really known to be fearful, but I guess with him he is. For some reason.
There's always a bigger predator, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
But I think he's trying to stop him from something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I get the same vibes, but like I don't want to guess. I don't want to assume. I guess. I know we talked about all the world hoppers.
There was other like
Great.
small characters like Shanae's sister Venli, which I didn't know she had a sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then she partners. Doesn't she partners with Odium or something? Like I forget. I'm trying to find her. I don't know. But then it come to find out also about how Dalinar and his people were the oppressors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Like, oh,
We stole this land. Yeah, mother suckers.
I was like, what? So y'all are the oppressors, not them.
Dang.
I'm like, oh, y'all deserve what you get.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Facts.
I'm like, this whole time,
They done played us for fools.
Yeah, and we're thinking like
we're the enemies, but that
we're
wasn't.
thinking that they're they're trying to protect what's theirs, and it's trying to be taken from them. No, freaking oppressors.
And then the heralds were no better. They left one of them to die in damnation or something, right?
Yeah, left them to die. So I guess they kept like the way I took it is that they would crack during whatever was happening and give in, and somehow they came back and they just did it over and over, and that one person did not break or did not crack. I don't know how to,
like, it was a cycle. They constantly had to do this, but instead of continuing the cycle, they sacrificed one of their own.
Yeah, but once a person was captured, they broke their oath, right? They cracked and broke their oath.
Yeah.
And then they started the cycle. Well, that one person didn't break their oath. So, then eventually they just left them like damnation. For what is it, like 4,000 years or something? Something crazy?
Yeah. What if those people turn into the group that's in Mistborn that had the oaths to the Mistborn, the people in power, because they had oaths that they had to essentially like play into. They had like a certain set of oaths that they had to adhere to, had a whole system too where they were tortured to a certain extent, and they get beaten down on if they don't adhere to those oaths.
In Mistborn?
Yeah. I can't remember his name. It was the one that they were with Vin, and then we found out that it was not the actual the person that we were thinking it was, because that one was eaten by the other one. I can't remember his name.
It was a Khandra, right?
Yeah, one of the
Khandras. Yeah, she was close to him or whatever, right?
So think of like how the Khandra, they have the oaths for the Mistborn, right?
Yeah.
What if the Khandra are just in a sense, like an evolutionized version of those people, and they somehow, like, looking at the differences between each of the worlds and how they're similar? What if the Khandra are just somehow an extension of the people that were oppressed, that Dalinar's world took over?
Yeah, I find a lot of similarities where the Khandra and the Parshendes, even with the color skin being different and whatnot, there's a lot of similarities with, they, instead of stormlight, they use metals instead, but they're still very similar as far as like flying and their magic and where they're, the magic system and whatnot. So I wouldn't be surprised if like they're cousins or something.
Yeah, like somehow some kind of evolutionized idea is what I was thinking.
Relations.
Yeah. Second cousin removed
on the mom side,
on a daddy side, because get around.
Yeah,
the dad gets around.
It's all connected.
It is.
It's just I want to know like the connections. Like,
Doesn't that come in Rhythm of War though?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Chris, tell
I'll
us
have
if
to
it
read
comes.
and see.
I haven't read it yet. I'm reading The Lost Metal right now.
How do
I
you like
just
it?
started Rhythm of War.
It's actually pretty good. I'm surprised because I didn't like the other two books that much, but it's an easier read, and there's action, and they're putting two and two together, so it's like it's wrapping it up. So I think I like it.
Yeah, Chris, this is our first read through. Yeah, I spent too much time with fandom. I can't remember the headcanon and what's real when it comes to it.
Yeah, Wit's been all over the place, and I'm like, what is your purpose, Wit? What is your purpose of all over the place?
Thank you. Thanks, Courtney. Yeah, Wit has, and the fact that he travels and he's almost in almost every series. I cannot wait for his book to come out next year. I believe one of them is his book.
Yeah, is
the
personally
fourth one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this book was just, I mean, Brandon Sanderson and the endings, like his last 150 pages are always immaculate, like always.
I'm also glad, like happy with Shalon towards the end of being happy. I thought that was a good conclusion to her emotions and stuff.
I also appreciated how he didn't necessarily give her a happily ever after in terms of understanding her identities. Like she even admits, like she's not still 100% sure of everything, but she's much closer to understanding herself than she was at the beginning of that book. And I appreciated that because I think especially with somebody like her, it's very delicate trying to understand who she is. And, like all these personalities, they are a part of her. They're just different extensions of her.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm glad that she finally, marries Adolin.
They're adorable.
They are.
And she meets her brothers again. She's reunited with her brothers. I thought, oh, I was happy with that.
So emotional. There was definitely a roller coaster with this book. I want to say the first 500 was kind of like, okay.
It was
Asna came back.
It was sort of dragging a little.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I'm not gonna say it was like 100% good because there were some points where it was like, come on.
Speed it up.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like, okay, let me speed this up. Oh man. But when it got to those scenes, I'm like, I was attentive. I'm like, wait, what? But now I want to see Rhythm of War, and I'm like, I wonder how it ends, because then we're just gonna have to wait a while.
That pertains to Mistborn. Oh, Chris. I'm going through changes.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
Right. I started to I liked Dalinar in the beginning, but then Oathbringer, it made me be like, yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know about
you.
Like you.
That was a Dalinar book for sure. Like, or this is a Dalinar book.
You put a bad taste in my mouth. Like you're a deadbeat dad, killed your wife, and then you're trying to make things right, and then you have your memory erased. I don't know.
And then even when you get it back and know the whole situation, you're gonna blame somebody else for your mistake.
Like be accountable. Tell your sons what really happened.
He's a freaking coward, all he is.
Right. And like you came in, you don't have the balls to tell your sons who really killed him.
Period.
And then they had the audacity to marry their aunt. I'm really surprised how smoothly that marriage went. I'm thinking like, y'all really just gonna let them? Like there was no type of like remorse. Like no, like
no. This book, I'm glad we got to see Stormfather a lot more.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that
as
was.
well.
He was confusing though.
He was confusing and
It's riddles and whatnot. I'm like,
right. I was like, it's like a fucking puzzle. Just come out and say shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
you don't need to know that, or you need to
I'm
figure
not
that
who I
out.
say I am.
Right. Like,
What?
come on, bro. Like, seriously.
I was just like, get to the point. Like, really? Like, I just know I'm never good with riddles, and I can't do it. Oh man, but overall, I really did enjoy the book.
I will say this was probably the favorite out of the entire series, and I've had a hard time with the entire series thus far.
Same. I think now that there's more connections that we put together, it makes you want to continue.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. First book alone dang sounds like Real Housewives kind of ish. Right.
I mean, yeah, like you got people trying to their friend trying to tell them to hook up with somebody who ain't their betrothed and whatnot.
Oh
man. And
but technically he married his first love or first crush, first something. I don't know. But
he had a thing for her, and then that didn't.
He had a thing for her, and then the brother married her, knocked her up, had some kids, and so when he died, then he swooped back in and was like, "Let me get mine," you know. And
it was some Hamlet shit right there.
Right. I'm like, and your kids were okay with this,
right?
Like the king Alfar was okay with you marrying his mom.
Nobody said anything.
Like there was nothing. They're like, okay. I'm like, that's it. No fighting. No, like what? No
saying how wrong it is. Nothing.
Right.
I mean, like they just got married and that was it. It felt like everything just moved on.
And now it's like I don't like him even more because like he never liked his other wife. He always liked her instead. And now it's like sometimes like I feel like you wanted her gone. You just didn't want her to die like that.
Yeah. She was never going to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
She was not somebody.
Yeah. She was very peaceful.
Yeah.
But, you know.
She was not going to be Nirvani.
I just felt bad. She like died like that.
Right.
It's a painful death.
Risk. Like, can you imagine like your husband? I mean, she was there to try to save them, right?
But keep the peace.
He was trying to delegate and whatnot. And Dalinar, I don't get this whole Blackthorn situation. I mean, I know that it's like an alter ego, and I get it, but I'm just like,
where is this? Why is this happening now?
Right.
Like, why? How come we didn't know much about this like the first 2 books? Like now we're starting to know the bad side of him, which I get. There's, that's another realistic thing. There's people have other sides to them, but that was a drastic.
That was a drastic.
I'm thinking like he was a great dad. He was just hands on with his son.
Great. He seemed like a great leader, right? Like we all thought, like, oh, he was, running shit for the king. We thought,
visions and stuff, telling him to do this.
Nope.
And I'm like, but I'm glad he chose Shallan and Adolin to, help the recruits and stuff.
Help
them learn how to fight.
I'm glad that Jesta got Shallan and Adolin together.
Yeah.
That was a good match.
Yeah.
That was a really good match.
It's just crazy. Another thing is, like, was Desna really needed in this book?
No.
Like, I'm thinking about it really hard, and I'm like, what did she really do?
She made Shallan. Shallan was going through, like, she was going through a transition of learning, being independent, learning her skills, her radiant skills, and learning, bonding with her friend and whatnot. But I feel like when Jasna came back, she had to put back into her role of becoming a scholar. But other than that, and have her think like a scholar, But other than that, she was not needed.
Yeah.
The book was boring until she came back, though.
Yeah.
I think.
But she didn't really have a crucial role.
At all. She didn't
No.
have not at all.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, her and Shalon was about to, have go at it because Shalon was like, I don't really know about this. Like, I don't know if I want to be your ward, like.
Just
I
like,
don't
can you take back my wardship? She was like, no.
Because she was like, she had a purpose, and I felt like to get to where she needed to be, where she is now, and I'm like, she doesn't really need Jasna.
Yeah.
But I know she wants to learn and have knowledge to some degree. But right now, other things is going down, so that's gonna have to be put on the back burner. She's training people to fight and stuff and use their powers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was not a great guy, but Gavilar was a fucking piece of shit. Period.
Yeah.
Navani is curious. I'm really curious about her. She seems dark.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Dawn
I
Shard.
can see that.
She sent out a certain group of people on the ship to like find something. I forget. In Dawn Shard.
I only read half of Dawn Shard, so
yeah,
I'm sorry.
With this in Dawn Shard, it was he like how he brings up mental illness. He also brings up like disability.
Yeah.
So like that's pretty cool.
I appreciate that he's expanded not only talking about mental health, disability, just the inclusion, right? The inclusion side of things. So a lot of these characters within Stormlight are not Caucasians, right?
Yeah.
They mentioned darker skin. They mentioned like
one of the heralds.
Right. So I appreciate even the women becoming and being knights and whatnot. Like I appreciate that I get to see this side of,
it's not a man's world.
Yes.
See, it's interesting to me because I only remember when first hearing about him how everyone was like, oh, like he writes really well, but he's also Mormon. So you have to wonder if there's stuff involved in that. This entire time, I have never seen anything to do with what typical Mormons' beliefs are about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which
None of it.
I appreciate because you can't push your own beliefs onto your readers.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can disconnect.
Yeah, and he's even said that his opinions on things have changed since he's been writing. And he's been writing on different kinds of characters.
Yeah.
It's amazing what will happen when you have a different perspective of things, is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Right.
And he no matter, every book will have some type of religion in, discussion or mention it. Because religion for Sanderson is a big part of his life.
Yeah.
And so, and I know that when they were talking about men in Bridge 4, there was someone, I think it was not Moash, it was a different character. He was going to the prostitute house, or however they said it. I don't know. He was sleeping with some prostitutes. And so he had mentioned like his belief systems and saying that it's wrong and different things like that. But I mean, they will talk about faith and belief systems or beliefs or religious things within the book, but it's not tied to Sanderson's beliefs, right?
Right. It's all involving the world itself. Like look at what Cezanne was in Mistborn.
Right. Exactly. Like a scholarly.
He was a scholar who knew more, not only about one religion, but about many. And
hundreds.
Hundreds. He was open to learning each one and how they're all each valuable. Absolutely. It's not just one particular religion that's better than the other,
Yeah. Completely.
Which maybe in the world we live in, we'll understand that one day.
I think the audiobook just came out this summer or August or something like that. But it's like confirmed. Yeah. Exactly.
One is up. Oh, she is?
is more Asian with red hair. I completely believe that. There was another, I saw some artwork.
I need to look into their descriptions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Shalon.
Let me see. I know that, where did I see the artwork at? There was a black girl. I don't know. But I mean, nonetheless, you know,
Yeah, you're right. She's supposed to look Asian. One of the heralds is black.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, the
she
one that was in Damn, right?
She was the daughter of the other herald that got killed by Odium.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, one of the heralds, his daughter was a herald too. I forget. I need to look up my notes. Let me see if I can find it.
Where did I find the artwork at? But I mean, nonetheless, I mean, I just appreciate that, you know, there's just so much. We could be here all day talking about the like details within this book. I feel like
And all of it would just be gushing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Really would be. Yeah, okay. I give up. Brandon has educated himself a lot. He definitely has.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely has. And he's very acceptant. A lot of some of the things that when I listen to his podcast and from years ago, his connection with his readers on Reddit and the things that they have mentioned, he has taken that into consideration and put inside of his books. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, he actively is involved.
And I really feel like now other authors are trying to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
To have a connection with their readers. So I appreciate Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah. He's definitely doing an amazing job. And his work shows it. I've said it before, you know, when it comes down to Sanderson, I give him his props because he knows how to write. He knows how to write and he knows how to make a story, keep you engaged, and it be 1,200 pages.
And end in a spectacle.
Yeah. I hope these other books he's got that's coming out next year ain't that big. Who knows?
They look like it when he threw it on the desk.
They look like it, but I don't know.
He threw that thing on the desk and I was like, holy moly, what in the world?
Which one is that?
That's gonna be, oh man, that's gonna be great. I cannot wait to read it. Odium, oh man. Odium seems like a freaking jerk.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the Lord Ruler.
That's a good connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good connection. I like that. And then Race, I'm sitting here looking at an image of Race to see like Race, how do you say it?
I just say Race.
Race was among the most loathsome, crafty, and dangerous individuals I've ever met. Hoyd.
Yeah, Hoyd is terrified.
He's a shard of Odium. How do you become a shard of Odium?
I'm still trying to understand a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why they said there's 17 shards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only 16 because it was split into 16.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the 17 is him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like we're not going to get all the answers.
Oh no, we never will.
We won't. We won't, and he'll make sure we don't get any answers until he's completely finished. Which we don't necessarily know when he'll be finished with Cosmere. because he's probably still trying to make connections himself
Mhm.
as he's writing these books.
I don't know how many series are in the Cosmere, but there's at least 2 more or 3 more that are coming out next year, right? Those new books are going to be branches of their own Cosmere world. Well, not Cosmere world, but like inside the Cosmere, but its own series.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just never ending. How many series does he plan on putting in to this damn Cosmere world? Because we have something about mermaids and fish or water.
I'm
I don't know.
excited about that one.
That's gonna be that's gonna be so exciting. So exciting. Cannot wait.
I was a little like Saudi that was it Tor that showed the titles and stuff of the books.
So many people were pissed about that.
Like,
So many people were pissed.
dang it. Because it was supposed to be a surprise.
Mm-hmm. I know people keep bringing up when he wrote something about Dumbledore being gay, and he's admitted that he was ignorant and his views changed once he went and educated himself and learned more.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the thing with Brandon Sanderson. He's open to a lot of these things. I mean, he's not living in some type of Mormon nutshell where he's just like, this is it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before, is like it's amazing what an outside perspective of things will do for you. And I think he's learned that very quickly, especially with how popular his books have gotten and how well involved he is. Also, being a college professor, like he's an actual person that's constantly getting, source material and, perspectives from so many younger people.
Right.
Absolutely. He's not afraid at all.
Mm-mm.
He's so engaging. I don't know how and where he finds the time in 24 hours to do what he does, to teach, to do his podcast, to do his weekly updates, to sit there and sign all of the books and run Dragonsteel on top of let alone we haven't even got to the book part, right? Like we haven't got to the book part or the editing the books that he did write. So and now he's doing the series.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be so much fun. He's definitely hands down, he's one of the best authors that I read this year. Because I'm never bored.
It's never a dull moment. Something's always happening.
Something's always happening, and then you'll have a lot of dialogue, and then bam, there's something, a battle or something happening.
Right.
Something popped off, or somebody's, the silly humor. And he can write multiple genres, and that's again the openness of being able and being flexible with his opinions and his thought process and like learning, but like all the way down to middle grade to adult epic fantasy. Like he can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people cannot. So yeah, Brandon Sanderson for the win. But this book hands down was a 5-star for me.
Yep.
Not finished Dawnshard, but I'm sure it's gonna be up there. So yeah.
Can't think of anything else that we haven't covered.
Yeah. Hopefully Rhythm of War is not a Dalinar book.
I will say I only just really started it and I'm only still writing the prologue, but we get to immediately see a flashback of Navani.
Okay.
When Galavar is still alive.
Okay, because that's what we're dealing with in Dawnshard is mostly about Navani.
Yeah, that's all I'll say because that's all I know. I literally got like 5 minutes into it before the live show was going to start.
Gotcha.
Okay, so probably Navani heavy.
It's not good, because I'm so sick of him. He don't deserve none of our time.
I'm just looking at these.
Navani, Kaladin, yes.
Venli.
Man.
Right.
I'm just looking in Brandon Sanderson for, well, this says 2024. It's called The Sunlit Man. So I have no idea.
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so it comes out in 2024. You can already pre-order it. It's interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Is
actually
that Stormlight 5? Is that the Stormlight 5 book?
It doesn't even say Stormlight. This is one that says Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I don't know. It's set in the Cosmere. Oh, this is told by... Okay, that's the book that's going to be told by Hoyd.
And we don't even know the world that Hoyd came from. Actually, because it's not the same world as Mistborn, Warbreaker. I mean, like, the planet itself is completely different.
Well, he talks in riddles about where he comes from.
Yeah, it's in riddles, but
where
we don't know what's going on there and the people.
Right.
I think if I remember correctly, we met characters who know Hoyd,
Mm-hmm.
and they said something to the effect of like he's a rogue kind of guy, like he kind of just does something on his own, and they don't approve of it, but he does his own thing.
There's other world hoppers.
Yeah,
he's not the only one.
I mean, Vivenna obviously is a world hopper, right? Hopping around with Vasher.
Oh, I wonder how that works. Or are they not world hoppers, or are they just going through that little portal of whatever?
Maybe.
Because remember in Mistborn where Kaladin was in some type of well area, and then here comes Hoyd or Wit, and he came through the portal-ish thing and was talking to Kalinar. Do you remember that scene?
I think I remember.
Kalinar was like,
I know the portal is in the Shattered Plains, right? You're through.
Yeah, it's in the Shattered Plains. Yeah, Vasher doesn't.
I'm trying to think how long ago was this, like the time periods, when like you're jumping from different worlds. So it's like, what's the time in years or months? Like,
yeah, I have no idea. But when I think of a portal, to be able to move worlds like that, Hoyd was able to do it, and he came and started talking to Kaladin in the Well of Ascension book when Kaladin was locked up in this round world well, I don't know, thingy. So that's what maybe they're just able to bounce. Oh, we're never gonna know. And he's gonna be 85 years old. He's like, I think I'm ready to end the Cosmere.
I give up. I retire.
As long as he ain't gonna pull George R.R. Martin, we're fine.
Yeah, he will never pull.
I was waiting for years and years.
Yeah, it probably would be something more of like with Robert Jordan, where somebody will be taking over his work after he dies, just like he did with Robert Jordan.
I see him finishing it. I just don't see him finishing it until he's like 70. Like it can go on for another 20 years.
I mean, he could, but I don't know if he'll do that to himself. I feel like he'll end it before he gets to that point. Maybe.
I hope.
Because I don't see him wanting somebody else to finish it for him.
No, at all. No.
So I think if he got to that breaking point, he'll find a way to completely end it and say this is the conclusion.
That's fair.
Because he's very, you can tell he likes have his control of his own stuff and how he wants his books to be. He's very precise. So
yeah, he hires his own art team. He hires his own. I mean, even down to the artwork and the cover art, all of it is done by Dragonsteel.
Yeah,
and he has all control over it. So I don't see him giving that up and having someone into his series for him, or technically world, right? Because there's like 15 million series inside the Cosmere.
Right. And I'm excited about whatever, if he's doing a movie or a TV series, I'm excited about that.
Right.
That'll be a lot special.
Right? Isn't he also doing a game?
think
like
so.
a PlayStation. I don't know. I want to say he was doing a game, partnering with someone that won't be out for years. But if he is, who knows at this point? Sanderson just can't stay still.
Which is fine.
You know.
Just fine. Keeps
Mhm.
writing. You know.
He's still young. He's still kicking. More
Oh,
power
yeah.
to him.
Yeah.
1000%.
I feel like I need a whole bookshelf, like a shelf, like just for Brandie Sanderson.
I have a whole row.
I need
but
the whole
next
thing.
year, the whole thing.
Has
I
probably
think this little one will be a Sanderson bookshelf by the end of 2023. So, but it's a little Billy, pretty tall, but
yeah,
the little shelves. I think this will be my. It's because we also pre-ordered White Sand.
yeah.
We
When,
have
I don't even know when we get that. All I know is I pre-ordered it, but I don't know when it's going to be shipped out.
I think February,
February.
March.
I already took.
So, I mean, that's a part of the Cosmere world as well.
Mhm.
That was a really good book.
And I think you've said before that one follows the World Hoppers too, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're scholars.
Yeah.
Chris, who's also a Black woman with braids. Love her. Love her so much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, by the end of 2023, he's gonna have 4 special edition books, 4 traditionally published books, on top of the Skyward series book is coming out.
I don't even know if I want to read it because I'm really consumed with Cosmere. Like,
yeah, I'm reading his the Reckner series right now, and I'm really enjoying it. But it's on the younger side, and so it's hard to switch from.
Yeah, like I'm used to adult. Like I just want adult. I don't need no sugar coated nothing.
Playful, ignorant, making bad choices.
Yeah, which is like making me hesitant to think about Skyward.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. But I'm reading that right now, and so this year alone, he's had 6 or 7 books come out. So I
think 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he also had Dawn Shard, Lost Meadow, his kid book, his middle grade.
The Skyward book came out earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
I'm
gonna say that one of the Skyward books. He had another book come out earlier this year. I don't remember. And then he had the audio for the Reckner series. So yeah, I want to say that was 6. Is that the audio is audio only? The book has not been published. So yeah, he's an amazing author. I don't know how he does it, but either way,
he tends to do that. Just imagine if other authors just did that too, like just kept writing like that. Man, I don't know how he does it. He doesn't get any writer's block, no
nothing.
Well, and I wonder how many of these things are things that he already kind of had something created for them, and he's just able to flesh them out more quickly. And like if he I would not be surprised if this is a man who has like multiple maps upon maps in different rooms of like colored string for different things, and then like tape recordings of him like walking through the process of these stories. Like I would not be surprised.
Or some type of outline.
Yes.
Outline of it all.
Absolutely.
He has such a great team though to keep him on track though too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of delegation.
Like he had a lot of beta readers and stuff.
And the fact that he shouted them out was like amazing. By name.
I'm like, can I be on here? Let me be a beta reader.
Yeah, hello. I can't vacation for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
I would definitely do that. Definitely. I wish.
I would love, to meet him and get all of my books signed by him. I'm still a little salty that we backed him, but he didn't sign those books, but it's okay. It's okay.
No,
Maybe,
Sanderson, you probably sign like 1,000 of them.
yeah. I
And if
mean,
you're lucky,
you
you'll
could
get
just sign one of them,
knowing Sanderson.
That would be a great surprise. I wonder if he would do that because of the whole mix-up with Tor and they released everything.
I wonder if he'll give us like an extra item or, who knows? He always has something up his sleeves. There's always a plot twist at the end. So I don't know. Maybe the end of the year, there's like a massive plot twist of like everybody gets a poster. I don't know. There is something. So yeah.
I probably will never get his leather bound because those are just out of my reach. I can't. I'm sorry. I already backed you for your secret project. I can't get your leather bound books. It's just not in the funds. Okay.
I don't even do leather, and I'm just like, I wouldn't do it.
I mean, I got all the books. I don't need leather ones too.
Yeah. I wish I've annotated some of the books. I really want to. I can't wait to be able to go back and reread some of these, especially when it comes to Stormlight, because I'm just impressed. When I need that adult epic fantasy, he's going to be the person I go back to. So he did read aloud the first draft of Stormlight 5 prologue. He did. But when he did that and he posted it, we hadn't read Stormlight. So it was like unknown jargon to us, right?
Well, how long is this? How long was it, the video?
I think like over an hour. Like an hour and 10 minutes or something. Because he also read from some of the secret books, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we were just starting Sanderson back then.
I might go back.
Yeah. Now that we have a good idea of how, the Cosmere world, it'll make sense to us.
Right.
It'll make sense to us. The magic systems will make sense to us. But back then I listened to like one of them for like an hour and I didn't know what he was talking about.
I tried and I'm like, I can't because I don't know. So I'm listening to you, but I don't know what's happening.
Your ex is a real one. For this, not for anything else, but for this. He went to Utah and got them signed. That's fucking dope. Mm-hmm. Did you like seal them, put them in a glass case? Like not one of those glass cases, but like the plastic ones that you can just like seal up? How did you do that? How are you protecting it? Because Lord. I don't know. And he just had that event too. Mm-hmm. He's just doing a lot this year. Mm-hmm. He's doing a lot. So,
I mean, he knows what his readers want. And so he's trying to do his best to do that, but not kill himself at the same time. Like, not burning himself out.
Yeah. That's true.
Man.
As far as Oathbringer, anything else? Any predictions or anything you want to see? I just sent them in the slipcase. Oh, gotcha.
Maybe I don't see Adolin and Shalon having any kids yet.
Ooh,
they might, but I don't think it'll be for a while because she's still going to figure herself out, and I don't see them having a child right now when they're in charge of getting everything ready.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Kaladin.
I can't wait to hear from Kaladin more.
I don't know about Kaladin.
I like Kaladin to a certain extent. So some of it, sometimes he seems like a little whiny bitch, but then
I think he has a bigger role to play. It's just he needs to. I don't know. Everybody got a purpose. It's just like who's gonna be, like I feel like Hoy, since he's been in every single book, like he has to have a bigger purpose somehow, like solution to all that's happening. He's not there just to waste space.
there's going to be a big battle scene in Rhythm of War, and then all of a sudden there's going to be Hoyd like
Because Hoyt seems so harmless, but I feel like he's stronger than what he lets on.
That's what I'm saying. He's so wise, and does he have the ability to see the future to a certain extent? Because, like, bro, how do you know? He comes in when he is needed, I feel like. And I'm just like, how?
He's like always a storyteller. First he's a beggar. Oh man.
Yeah.
He's a good person to talk to, like especially when it was about Shalon. He helped her.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
He really did.
And
Put
I'm
a lot of things in perspective for her.
Yeah, and I'm like, Boyd.
She really did.
Boyd, go get yourself a girlfriend.
He would outlive her.
That would be who it is.
If he had kids with someone.
Could he though? That would be something.
They never talk about that. Can he have children? Like,
he have children? Has he ever fallen in love? He's been around for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he tries not to have such a huge, like, have an attachment to anybody.
Yeah,
for a reason.
he's out the door.
Yeah, I think, like I said, we don't know how many years apart all this has taken place or prior to. Like, he probably seen a lot of people die, and so he hopped over to a different world.
Yeah.
When shit starts going south, see ya.
Bye. Oh, this is nice. Oh, it has a lot of colors. Okay, I'm just gonna act as a storyteller. They don't.
Oh shit! There's battle. Bye.
Bye. Let me go be a beggar on the corner.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
How old he is.
Oh boy.
As old as.
I just think he'll be so powerful.
Whatever the original shard is.
He has to be powerful to be around this long. He's the only constant, I feel like, within these books. Like,
from the beginning. Right? From the beginning of the shards, like, he probably saw the world. But like you said, he's the only constant. He's experienced every single world, including White Sands. So, like, how, bro? Like,
I'm like, you have to be some type of higher being or something. Like, you have
something, right underneath
like,
a shard.
Like, who are you? You have all these other names. Like, what's your extravagant name? Because, you know, they have these big old magical names and stuff when they change from book to book. Like, Viviana is now Azor in Stormlight. So
I can't wait for you guys to get to Rhythm War.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to get through the Lost Metal first because that's a shorter book. So
yeah, I need to read that. That's going to be my book for next week.
Yeah,
can't wait. Cannot wait. I haven't read much of anything, so can't wait for that. But anything else that we didn't mention?
I don't think so. I feel like we covered the key points of everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed a lot.
No, I think we got everything. There's a lot more we learned about the gods or shards.
Yeah, we learned about how they actually took over the world.
So many different things. But yeah. Any last thoughts, Gabby?
I don't know if this is super loud next to me. It's our little mini fridge, but no, not really. I'm kind of just excited to get started with Rhythm of War and be able to say that we did it.
Right. Came a long way. Came a long way.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Almost a year worth of Cosmere.
And I'm just looking at the books. I'm like, we really read all these books this year.
Oh, mine's are right there. Next to my thing hanging.
Like, what?
Oh, Dang. What
Well,
a journey.
and if you guys want a full year of N.K. Jemisin, I'm doing that in 2023.
N.K. Jemisin has that many books? Well, yeah, she does. I mean, that was a stupid question.
Yep. So, you guys want to
Yeah.
you guys want to feel free to come join in, you're more than welcome to. We're starting off January with the first book in the Broken Kingdoms series, 5th season.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What the
Starting off.
dang?
Mm-hmm.
I need to reread that because I didn't end up going through and finishing.
It was one on their mother shelf.
You have the special edition
Who?
of 5th season? You?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I just got the regular
Right. I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you, Ulysses.
I'm joining a whole bunch of people. I gotta read Throne Glass and N.K. Jemisin.
N.K. Jemisin is definitely. And then we'll be doing. Did we already announce what we're doing next year?
I think it was only people in the chat. We didn't like officially announce it, like did announcement videos, but we're doing Azora Neale Hurston.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But it's not; those books aren't thick. Like it won't be crazy.
No,
we're not trying to be crazy.
They're probably less than 300 pages.
Yeah.
Definitely less than 400 for sure. Like definite. You know.
Yeah, but we'll probably do announcement probably in January and then officially start in February.
Cool.
Yeah, after we celebrate this end of year.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmere. This has been a journey. I'm not reading it. Yeah, I
don't blame you. It's just since I wasted my time reading it, it's like I might as well finish it. Continue on. Because like I have these books for
You have the books?
Huh?
You have Throne of Glass?
No, not yet. I pre-ordered the ones that for the new covers. So the paperbacks.
Yeah. Super cool. I'll definitely join you on N.K. Jemisin because I need to read 5th season. I need to read all her books. I have every single one of them except for no, I even have the new one. So I have all of them. And so I'll join you on that. And then Zil North Hurston. My goal also is to read Dr. Nettie Aquifor. I'm butchering that name. And then there's another. I just want to dabble more into middle grade. I think next year is going to be Octavia Butler. How did I forget? So, yes. Yes, I'm going to. I'll have a whole layout. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, but as far as Oathbringer, I think that's it. We're gonna wrap this up, and we'll see you guys in January to talk about Rhythm of War and to celebrate Cosmere. That's gonna be so exciting. So be ready for it. It's coming. So we will see you guys later next month, and